Now, on the line with us is an expert in all things cars, head of marketing and communications at WesBank Vehicle and Asset Finance. Because today we're talking about replacing buying a car with what they call our car subscriptions. Lebo Gaoaketse is the head of marketing and communications at WesBank Vehicle, as I said earlier. Lebo, what is a car subscription? Good evening.
Hi, Camilla. I'm not sure if you can hear me. There's another voice on the call. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Do you still hear some feedback still?
I can hear you clearly now. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Good evening to you. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for making time for us. What is a car subscription?
To put it simply, it's really paying for usage, paying for the usage of the car, not necessarily owning it. And that becomes quite important because one can appreciate how a lot has changed, a lot has changed and evolved. So it's quite important as the motoring industry that we follow suit. And when I say a lot has changed, I'm specifically talking through the generations, so the younger ones, specifically the millennials and the Zs, the Ys and the Zs, we are seeing the trend that, they're not married to owning a vehicle.
Yeah.
And things, you put it rightly. They start families late, if at all have a family. They don't buy houses. They rent a lot because they believe in experience as opposed to owning things. So car subscription is really paying for the usage of the car without being bogged down to owning it at the end. Yeah.
Okay. How different is it from rental or a lease?
It's not, to be honest, it's not too different. The only thing with, the rental and the lease is that you are still given a term and a contract, to say you at least have to rent it for X amount of years, for so much. And while renting it, obviously, the nice thing is that the company that you're renting it from takes care of the upkeep and maintenance, right? Mm-hmm. Similarly for subscription services. So those are the two things that are similar with subscriptions and rentals. At least it's pretty much the same. The only thing that is really a great advantage that we are seeing with subscriptions is that they say a minimum period of 3 months is all you need. You don't need to do a credit check. As long as you can show that you can pay this thing for the time that you've got it, then you can have that car.
So, okay, I've seen rental car companies. I have seen, the stores that you see where you can buy your previously loved cars and other dealerships for brand new cars. I must say, I have never seen an ad that says, come and get your car subscription. Where would you go?
And that's a very interesting question that you asked because those are coming up so quickly in South Africa. All you need to do is just Google subscription services in South Africa. There's a company called Why Buy Cars specifically, okay. And they've got packages there, nice packages depending on how long you want to subscribe for. What your needs are in terms of the size of the car, because that's a huge consideration that's pushing people to subscription services. As I said earlier, they start families late, so you don't want to have this big massive car that you're paying if you don't really need it and you don't use it fully. So there are companies that are coming up. Why Buy Cars is one of them, and also the inherently famous rental companies are subscribing as well because they're also evolving.
Okay. So because we don't know a lot about car subscriptions, anything to look out for, just so that we're not scammed and stuff. What are the questions to ask?
Firstly, it's quite important to understand the term. As with any deal, rightly. And understand, place your needs first as a customer. State exactly what you need. I don't want a contract. I don't want to be bogged down. Very, very important. They take care of the insurance, for instance. They take care of maintenance. Any tracking devices they take care of. And you just need to pay This kind of service, Pamela, it's quite viable for somebody who likes changing cars. I mean, as millennials do, as Zs do, they like the here now, sort of instant gratification. And those are, you need to put your needs first and really do your research in terms of, so what they do, they will give you steps on their website in terms of, we've subscribed so many cards, we've got so many customers. And the biggest thing right now is customer comments and ratings on these websites. Go check those out. And just make sure that you are dealing with a legit company that is also registered. Do your due diligence as a private individual to make sure that, you're not landing yourself in an awkward situation.
But I mean, what could go wrong? So maybe help us out with how you can be scammed, for instance. Maybe somebody asking you for your credit card details beforehand, whatever.
100%.
Okay.
I mean, that's one of the things. There are obviously opportunities for fraudsters to scam people and pose as these subscription services, as you do have with auctions or any vehicle sales under your normal contracts of a vehicle. So you look out for the fact that is it a registered company, the car, is the asset available? So go and check that the car is available. Very, very important. And I mean, if it looks too good, do your research, make a comparison. If it looks too good, if on average they are subscribing a Toyota Camry or a Yaris for 3,000 a month, and you get a good deal that's 1,500, that is a red flag, for instance.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a bargain. It's a red flag.
It's a red flag, the absolute red flag. What is the average amount that everyone else is subscribing for? What are the documents that they need? What is it that they're promising you? Go to Hello Peter, go to these reputable sites and just Google them, search on Hello Peter to check the reviews, and you will really get a good sense of are you dealing with the right company or not?
Okay, we've spoken about why buy cars. I mean, any other names you can throw around for those who are interested?
I know that Avis has a subscription service, for instance. I know that the Teleshow Group has a division that does subscription services. For example, those are the ones that are coming up that are reputable, that you kind of know of rightly. I mean, a friend of mine has recently just returned a car that he's been using for 12 months to start another contract. Okay. 100%, and that was with Avis. So those are the three that are really, really, really top of mind at this point.
Are there any don'ts that you can maybe, help us with here? Don't do X if you're a customer.
I mean, the one thing that customers easily do is to give out the information before they even know who they're dealing with. So don't do that. And as I said, check if you are dealing with the right person. If you do not trust the source, don't give out money. Cash deals. If you are dealing with a fraudster, 9 out of 10 times they want cash and they want it now.
Upfront.
Yeah, upfront. Make sure that there is a process to transact, like any other business that is found would, electronically, where you can track your funds, where you can have proof of payment and provide it in case you need to. Because when you give somebody cash and they run away, there's no proof, for example. I think that's the biggest thing. And where they want a lot of documentation, personal documentation, I mean, this process, Pamela, is also meant to be very easy, very quick. No forms, no hassles. They don't want your blood sample because it's not that kind of a service. So the minute that they start asking you a whole host of things, that already, says.
Is it easy to check out? Is it easy to say, well, I'm no longer interested. Tomorrow I want to bring back the car and let's call it a day?
Absolutely. I mean, as I said earlier on, that most of them, actually all these three that I've mentioned, say you need to at least have this car for a minimum period of 3 months. Because it obviously also needs to be viable for them. But at any moment in time, should you feel that you want to return the car for another one, you can get into another contract. For instance, it is that simple. and they've got your profile. You don't need to redo or refill anything else. You may want to upsize to a bigger car as and when your needs change. These people that are the target for this kind of service are global citizens, so they move around. I thought I needed it for 3 months, but guess what? I only need it for a month. So please take your car. You may then, in that case, if you've had it for less than 3 months, be due to
penalties.
Penalties.
Okay.
100%.
All right.
100%.
So tell me how this affects now your industry. I mean, I'm talking to you as a WesBank Vehicle and Asset Finance. Are you involved at all, or this is just between me, my credit card, my check account, and the dealer?
Well, in terms of WesBank, because we offer finance, right?
Yes.
We finance these assets. Our dealers obviously would finance would make the car available as a channel. The manufacturers produce the actual car. We are evolving to just merely offering that product for ownership, but giving access to mobility. So we're actually also relooking and reviewing at our finance structures to make sure that we are not left out in the cold.
Yes.
How it impacts us? At this point in time, not greatly, to be quite honest, because
I'm no longer a viable customer for you. I now just deal directly with this dealership, or what do you call them? Because they're not dealerships now. What would this person be called?
They literally subscription services.
Services, yes.
100%. Dealers still provide they are still a channel to which the car is provided. The manufacturers still manufacture the car. This is just a different product. We would still need to tailor a finance solution for this 100%.
For the business owner. Okay.
100%. So we all basically just need to evolve accordingly to make sure that we offer solutions, because millennials and they really, really want solutions that are contextual. I need to make that very clear. So gone are the days of spray and pray. Let's hope that they'll take it up. Let's force it down their throat. What is it that they need, and you need to speak to that specifically.
Listen, very insightful. Thank you so much for making time for us. Lebo Gaoaketse is the head of marketing and communications at WesBank Vehicle and Asset Finance. I've learned something new today about car subscriptions.